Akademiks. Can't ride no whip.
I do want to get into this whole Meek Mill and Charlamagne thing. I have a really interesting take about this. But I'll deal with the obvious, minute details at first. So, on one of Charlamagne's Brilliant Idiots, that's his podcast, on one of his episodes recently, they were talking
Andrew
about
Schultz.
We are the Brilliant Idiots podcast.
Okay. They were talking about the Jay-Z interview. And in talking about the Jay-Z interview, they were talking about Jay-Z's thoughts on rap battles, how it has affected people, and Jay-Z even expounded the thought to say, yo, I think rap battles should be cooked at this point. Like, it's just too crazy, right? Charlamagne gave his opinion. And in giving his opinion, he used an example of Meek Mill who battled with Drake. And he's trying to kind of like make a point of, well, when Meek battled with Drake, the reason why the outcome was so profound and things for Meek looked a little bit different were because of these reasons. And he gives a bunch of reasons. Meek subsequently responds to this, and he's actually really upset. I ain't gonna lie, it was one of the first time I'm like, yo, Meek's mad at somebody in the media, it's not me. Because, you know, Meek usually just wait. He was like a snapping turtle when it came to Meek. However, let me try to play it. I want to play it in context a bit. We're on a stream, right? If you guys want to clip it up in short pieces, you can. But I do like to give people the benefit of the doubt to understand context. That's why I do streams, not 2-minute videos. But let's try to listen to the conversation a little bit. Then we'll get to what Meek said.
How they think
It's a 1A, 1B, guys. Like, stop. Kendrick is pretty big, bro. Kendrick got a Pulitzer Prize.
Why you not think
Y'all got to stop.
Yo, my kids' lunchroom, they would all start singing.
Okay.
Like,
Pick a side.
well, I was on your side.
Yeah, I guess clearly.
But my position was I can't go out and buy Stillmatic or ask my parents to buy Stillmatic.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna borrow it and burn it because I can't deny one mic, you know?
Like, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
But I ain't supporting them.
Or
Yeah.
No, that's not the part. It's the one where he talks about.
Why you make me?
It was like the conversation was, oh, he's doing this to cement his legacy as the greatest, and this is to slight LeBron and blah blah blah, right?
Or when that's fun, but it's dumb.
Oh, sure, it's dumb. Or when LeBron did Space Jam 2, throw him off, they're gonna be looking at him like, no.
Okay,
Jordan playing a 3, and you have at it as somebody who's.
The label.
No, I think the damage was done before that.
No,
Damage was
he
done
made it
before.
worse.
Ongoing, yeah.
He sued.
Okay. So they're kind of talking about the aftermath of Kendrick and Drake. Charlamagne's demeanor is, yo, Drake made it worse by suing to send third. Schultz disagrees.
Here on this podcast, told y'all he was going to sue in jest, sarcasm, sort of, kind of. When I'm right, it's not sarcasm. But so in jest, right? And he actually did. That is what made it worse. All of the things that have been happening after the fact, all of the Drake fan pages who still can't get over the fact that he just lost the rap battle. So they're constantly digging up stuff, constantly trying to find stuff, constantly trying to, rewrite history just because your guy lost a rap battle. Drake kept this going in a way that we've never seen before.
Okay.
None of us, we've never seen somebody sue after losing a rap battle.
Right.
That's what makes this seem nastier than what it is. Like, we've seen people get called wild things in rap battles before. Like we've seen people say, I fucked your baby mom and this person fucked your wife. And we've seen all of that before.
Right.
We've never seen nobody sue.
That's true.
Drake made it worse. Drake and Kendrick battle is not only the greatest rap battle of all time, it's the most unique rap battle of all time. We never saw anything like this. We never saw somebody like Kendrick. We said, who said it earlier? To the victor go to spoils. You said that, Chris? We've never seen anybody get a victory lap like Kendrick.
Okay. All right, we kind of get.
This is never gonna happen again. Even when not, think about it.
Of course something like this will happen again. Come on.
I don't know. And I'll tell you, because of the players.
This is an improvement in some ways.
Yeah, that's what
Why,
I'm saying.
nobody got hurt?
The biggest rap battle is Tupac versus Biggie. You saw how that ended.
Yeah.
Tupac versus Biggie was the last time in my mind. But you can't even say that because Biggie didn't engage. But
He
it was
engaged. Who shot you?
Biggie didn't engage.
He said that wasn't supposed
He
to be
didn't engage.
Who shot you is a subliminal.
I don't know. Everybody says Who Shot You was recorded way before.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. But my point is, Biggie didn't really engage directly. But as far as artist-wise, man, Pac was a way bigger artist than Big, yo. I know it don't seem like that.
He was.
No, he
Pac was a way bigger artist than Big. At the
was in
time when
movies.
Jay-Z and Nas went at each other, Jay was a way bigger artist than Nas, y'all. When Drake went at Meek, Drake was a way bigger artist than Meek. So it was easier for those battles just to keep moving because there's nothing but upside. Nas, you win with Ether, right? Even though I think Takeover's a better song, but Nas, you win with Ether. So it's nothing but upside for you, right?
Yeah, for the-
Sadly, Pac and Biggie got,
The smaller
got
guy
killed.
always has the upside.
Meek never. I don't know.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying, like, Meek could have just kept doing music, but for some reason he didn't. Like, something was just off after the battle. You know what I mean? And he really, I mean, honestly, he didn't really
He never
recover.
recovered.
Yeah, it's
Well,
strange.
he lost.
Maybe he made a lot of money though.
He kind of recovered when he got with Nicki, and then it fell off again.
No, they broke
No,
up
because
right after that.
I know, but he was like having songs out and everything.
You know what it was with Meek, man? Meek's Achilles heel to me was actually Twitter.
Yeah, for sure.
And when Drake called him Twitter fingers, no, what did he say? What was it? Was it Twitter fingers,
yeah,
right?
Twitter fingers.
When he called him Twitter fingers,
Trigger finger turned to Twitter. finger.
Trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers, and it's just like every time Meek
He
tweets,
tweets.
even
It's
now
crazy,
to
bro.
this day.
It's crazy. It's pure
And
entertainment.
I fuck with Meek. You know what I'm saying?
Nah,
Like I think Meek does a lot for his community. You know, he's been a great, symbol for the city of Philly. I love what he does with reform, but I probably would have deleted my Twitter after Twitter fingers. yo. And just flooded the
forgetting
streets
the-
with nothing but music.
You're forgetting the Diddy stuff too.
guys, we're insane to talk every week.
What?
We're
Right.
insane to talk every
But
week.
we're podcasters.
But we're podcasters. Twitter, only Elon makes money. You know what I mean? Like you could do the same talking and tweeting you could do in bars. You could just rap. You could just do it. It's a kind of crazy thing that people are actively still talking
Yeah, man.
at that level.
Meek should have doubled, tripled down on just rap.
Just rap.
Like, cause he's nice. Like, just flood the streets with music. Let social media talk. Let them be crazy.
And you
get off Twitter. Just give them music and keep
You
doing your
created a
community work.
song also that like Philly will play for decades.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Like they'll play that literally for decades.
Dreams and Nightmares is like PSA level at this point.
Yeah, I imagine for Philly.
No, for the world.
No, of course the world, but also the world also has PSA. Like the
No,
way
but,
that.
I've seen Dreams and Nightmares in another country. It's the same.
No,
effect.
I'm not trying to knock it. I'm just trying to say like the emotional connection we have for
Okay.
PSA.
All right, interesting. Again, I really have like a little left field thought about all this. Let me just play what or not play. I gotta read it. Fuck. So Meek Mill actually made a post. Did he delete it? No, he didn't. So he put that up and he says, "Yo, so I want to make this a main post to highlight the real propaganda that's taking place in the hip hop community. I need everyone to leave a comment if you see what's happening and how they're trying to downgrade artists' brand from feeding their family. Let's go through it. The white comedian also boosted what? The white comedian also boosted didn't rumor what? On his oh my God. Yo, why does it make a video message, bro? Like the white comedian also boosted didn't rumor on his major platform with no evidence and asked me to go on the show. Can y'all see my brand back heating up now? Please leave an honest comment. Since Drake beef, I dropped Tap 3 times platinum. Peter, double platinum. Blue Notes 1 and 2, platinum. Uptown Vibes with Legend from Brooklyn, Fab, platinum. What's Free featuring Jay-Z, Meek Mill. I think it's platinum. Fuck On Me featuring Cardi, platinum. Scarface with Rick Ross, gold independent money. Respect the Game, platinum. 24/7 double platinum, dangerous platinum or double. I don't collect plaques, LOL. Championships albums like double plat. Expensive pain. It wasn't marketed correctly, leaving labels. Cybertruck, 5 a.m. in Philly. Look how far we came. He actually switched up on Drake. What the fuck is this? He actually switched up on Drake because he helped power the Meek was done narrative. Now he's using the same against Drake. I'm good with Drake and Jay-Z as far as I know. Keep me out this weak ass shit. I had a meeting with the 16s. Found a lot of new tech deals and activations from just playing around and tweeting. I forgot Proud of Me, almost platinum, 1942 flows, platinum, whatever you need, platinum, check platinum. What the fuck? What the fuck he talking about? We got to keep a close eye on this cat. I feel like he in the closet. He a gay man that hates successful black men unless he doing business with them. But they promoted I'm gay. And I'm powering, helping pop like 10 artists off on the East, no cash gain for charity. I'm really the one. But it's some real propaganda on my brand, and I want it to be investigated. The Diddy shit wasn't normal. I'm a real trench baby. Earned a plate in front of the world. I'd rather die than disrespect what I put blood, sweat, and tears I put in my concerts jumping. I felt blackballed for a minute. I believe in God. I get what I want. Okay. That was hard to get through, chat. That was hard. He also had another comment on his own post. This comment said, and it's amazing, I'm the only rapper with the foundation that raised over 50 million changing laws and helping restructure the probation system with a big gay campaign on him. And campaigns, he tweet too much. That's all algorithm speech. Never let them silence you. It can't affect me. I'm the one. But y'all know that. All right. Oh, boy. All right. So let me break down what I think is happening here. I would love to know what Meek and Jay-Z's relationship is. That's number one. I know you're going to say what? To me, this read like Meek was saying that Charlamagne was a mouthpiece for propaganda. By the way, I've realized, and I don't know if you guys noticed, remember a couple weeks ago we were watching Charlamagne, who was saying, oh, there's right-wing bot pages and whatever, and it's all going to come out in due time, just for Jay-Z to come do an interview and he's saying the same thing. Sometimes they say two geniuses might have the same opinion, or they basically said the same thing, which ironically, Charlamagne and Jay-Z said the same things just weeks apart. However, when Charlamagne is speaking about, Meek Mill and, what happened to Meek, he blames Meek for not recovering. Yet when he talks about Drake and Kendrick and why the atmosphere is so negative, because Jay also talked about that, he blamed fan pages and bots, essentially. I wonder, we all do know that Meek is the first one who said fan pages and bots, right? Remember I told you, the nigga told me that Drake is paying for L's on his page. Now, granted, what do I think? I think Drake has a really huge fan base. And I'm going to get down and we're going to break down all of why I think things don't look the same for Meek anymore. Ever since we've gotten to this fandom era, and the fandom era started way before people think. I want to say 2007? Beefing isn't there was always a victor and a loser. And here's the problem with beef. You isolate your fans. A big Dirk fan don't listen to Youngboy. A big Youngboy fan don't listen to Dirk. There's very few people who are just casuals listen to both. I felt like Meek had street fans, but he also had pop fans and mainstream fans, and that beef turned him off. Now, this is why, and you might say, why did I evoke Jay-Z in this conversation? Because I'm not understanding why Charlamagne is given this current climate the benefit of the doubt by saying, and I'm quote unquote benefit now, by saying this is all bots now. And no, Drake has the biggest fan base in music. If you diss him, it's like dissing the fucking Navy, which is Rihanna's fan base, or dissing the Barbs. It's never going to be cool. Cardi B's still battling with them motherfuckers. Any artist who goes against Nicki's battling with, that's what happens after you've entered the fandom era. So the idea that he's saying Meek just gave up, Meek was back then saying it. Just that honestly, niggas who like Drake, stop listening to Meek. Honestly, it was just one of those. Was he rapping? Was he putting out good stuff? Yeah, of course he was. But you know, sometimes rappers really think it's. I always tell y'all, sometimes rappers, they market the facade more than the skills. You could skillfully be able to rap, do all this stuff. If we don't believe you, nigga, an image is really important to a rapper. If we don't believe you, who gives a fuck? So this idea that, you know, everybody keeps saying this thing with me, man, but he was rapping. The barometer or the reason why fans like you is not because you're just putting out effort. They got to believe you. They got to want to root for you. You got to embody them. Likability matters. These are intangible things that are beyond music. When niggas like you, whatever you do is excusable or they want to support more. When they don't like you, they don't even hear it. There's a part, and you know, I wouldn't necessarily call it blackball because Meek Mill was on a major label. He was signed to Roc Nation at a point for management, and he was on Atlantic. How are you getting blackballed? No, we can't use blackball with everything. How are you getting blackballed? You have every resource at your disposal. What happened was the money and resources of the labels in Roc Nation wasn't strong enough. I'm sorry to say to anybody, you went up against the biggest rapper, probably, shit, I still think Drake's in his peak, but his peak, he hit his peak first back then. So anyway, I thought it was very interesting in this rant where he says, I got no problem with Jay-Z or Drake from what I know. That was interesting to me. Not too sure why he said that. Where is it at? He says, I'm good with Drake and Jay-Z as far as I know. I think it's something he's not going to say. I've been peeping it for a while. Meek leaves Roc Nation. Remember, this is supposed to be everybody's in reform. We're marching with reform. Everything's cool. Dream Chaser Records is over there. Dream Chaser Records exits Roc Nation. He's no longer managed by Roc Nation. We don't really get an explanation, not that we necessarily need it. But I start seeing some things with Meek on Twitter. It feels like he's taking shots. I don't know. I'm open to be wrong. I'm speculating. He kept saying he would big up like these other billionaires or like other people he's meeting, and he'd be like, yeah, an OG that will show us shit. And I was like, I think that's what you're supposed to say about Jay. Like, you were supposed to be the guy you was showing shit. What happened? We don't know what happened. I think there's something there. I'm just going to leave that there. It's no secret that, listen, there's a lot of people feeling that Charlamagne and Jay-Z, they're buddy-buddy. They're buddy-buddy. Jay-Z's going to go get motherfucking, here's another thing, too. Why I think Jay-Z is involved in this. Because Meek then drops a video, and in the caption, he uses a Dame Dash, like, colloquial, a Dame Dash phrase, a phrase that Dame Dash is using in an interview with Charlamagne where he's getting at Jay. Tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm cooking, I'm cooking. If I ain't cooking with no stove, let me know. Fell off. I built my family office. Who's the person that said family office? Last interview this year, Dame Dash went up to the Breakfast Club. Remember the interview before he went to the Breakfast Club? Charlamagne got the Roc Nation hat on. He mentions it a couple of times. Him and Charlamagne start going back and forth, but we get him saying, my family, I don't own anything. My family office does. Meek mentions it here. So Meek was signed to, had his whole label on Roc Nation, silently leaves. And now, from what we're hearing, he's quoting Dame Dash. He's quoting Dame Dash. Okay. I built my family office, built it up of cultural currency, went independent, bought a new crib, put a studio in the jail I was at last. I hired new agents, new team. I've been that nigga. Your favorite rapper will get crushed in a room with Philly rappers, and I'm one of them. This is very ironic for me because here's my theory. Let me lay it out. I would love to know what's going on with Meek and Jay. I think there's something there. I think Meek responds to Charlamagne in this way because I don't think Charlamagne was that unfair. I don't. But I think Meek think he's being a mouthpiece. It's the same way how Dame Dash responded to Steve Stout and he said, I think Steve Stout's being a mouthpiece. For who? Jay-Z. I'm telling y'all. So he posts a main page response with that. Now, I could give Meek slight credit. Meek is the first rapper in hip hop to ever mention bots. Let's be clear. I'm on the phone with his manager at the time, Coon Philly. They said when we go out in the streets, we're loved. When we open our comment section, all we see is L's. Something ain't right. Something is going on to turn people against me. Which is ironic that Charlamagne currently acknowledges that there is propaganda being spread through bots, but the first person who actually said that, he doesn't give that nigga no out. That nigga only fell off because lack of effort and whatever. But this new shit going on, all bots. Propaganda. Right wing. Interesting. I'm going to leave that in the air. I don't think I need to do much clarification. It's going to get figured out. Watch. Slowly. Watch. So, let's analyze Meek Mill. Now, me and Meek, we have no issues. I spoke to him at Cardi's concert backstage on FaceTime. We've had a bunch of we've had a bunch of interviews. Okay. We've had a bunch of not interviews. We've had a bunch of conversations on the phone. Never met in person. And we've never had an official sit down, right? Sometimes it's just kind of like clearing the air. Because at times it's gotten so tense. It's like, I'm not a street dude, but, I told you the most recent one. I was connected to him through an associate after I went to an event. Hip Hop Police pulled me to the side and said, hey, listen, you should probably let us know when you're coming in and out of town. Based on what we're seeing, there's some beefs. And apparently one of his affiliates didn't get in to the show because they're trying to make sure things doesn't happen. And they hit me up and they say, yo, it's fucking up our money, right? Like Hip Hop Police is on us because they think we're trying to do something to you, right? Whatever. So we talked. Regardless, I maintain frame and being able to give my opinion unimpeded. I don't want nobody to tell me what to say, how to feel, what to think. I might have biases at time, but I think those will be pretty much clear, and you should make your opinion for yourself. Like, if you think I'm being biased on a Drake topic, that's because Drake is favorite. Okay, cool. But I'm not here really I don't have vitriol in how I go at rappers unless it gets personal. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the thing with me and Lil Baby is pretty personal. So, when you hear anything from Lil Baby, I'll even tell y'all. It just ain't gonna look pretty. I'm sorry. But whatever. I digress. I want to break Meek's career down. And I had to go through that little disclaimer to tell you that I'm being honest, and this is honestly what it is. So, what Charlamagne doesn't factor in, even though he's not entirely incorrect, is the sequence of things that happened in Meek Mill's career that actually have him currently in his now place. I think Meek did the 3 cardinal sins and did a 4th and a 5th to essentially commit what I would believe, or some may see as career suicide. I'm going to break each of them down. Well, I'll tell you all 5, and then I'll give you the timeline. Here's the cardinal sins if you want to have a career. Remember, I keep telling you, these rappers, they're so egotistical. They think because they have talent or they could rap, they're forever loved. Well, that's not how music goes. People get tired of you. People say you have the same flow. Music moves on. There's a new youth, new foundation. It happens. But these are the 5 things he did. Beef with the biggest rapper in the world. That should be a no-brainer, but that's one. Number 2, be seen as the villain after being in the relationship with the biggest female rapper. That's 2. If we're talking about fan bases, the Barbs and the Drake fans, you've kind of like eliminated about 65% of hip-hop fans. So you've cut half of the people who like you, and the way those fans are for those artists, they're avid and they're rabid. And if they feel like you broke Nicki's heart or did whatever to her or she don't like you for whatever reason, they won't fuck with you. It's a fact. Drake fans as well. Wartime is wartime. It's mad. Drake fans now that they may used to listen to Kendrick once in a while. They don't fuck with Kendrick right now. It's wartime. It is what it is. Now, this is going to, actually, I got 10 things, okay. These things, I'm not going to say it is in order, but I do want to just be honest. Number 3, beef with one of the most successful and the loudest voices in media. I tell every artist, don't beef with the media. If you hate him, ignore him. Any public beef with media will always shape how you look. Never do it. They'll still do it, even though I tell them, fine. 4, X.com/Twitter. Really, I should put this in a PR category. In every moment, to expose his own personality, his own, self, he's done it. He's taken control of used to be 140 characters and completely destroyed his reputation. From calling out Drake to saying certain stuff, speaking on things that didn't matter, overexposing himself. It's been absolutely atrocious to watch. And I know he keeps thinking it's about silencing. But I'll share a conversation. I try not to share a lot of my private conversations with these guys. But, 21 Savage is my friend. And I was arguing about the same point, about perception. We argue, just like in ideals. Like, we just argue, like, things. Because he was kind of trying to make a point, like, nah, my point is always rap or fans liking you is way more than music. I think it's a fallacy to think that someone isn't hot just off of their musical talent at the time. It's a culmination of things. How much people like you? Are they tired of you? Do they want to see you lose? It's a whole bunch of things. There's storylines going on. This is why us media people survive. Like, there's storylines constantly going. It's not just raw music. And there's no objective score. Everything is subjective. Yo, first day out is about to go through the fucking roof after you realize this nigga was on that shit. Yo, what? Yo, 30, pass me that Drake. Yo, give me them earrings, nigga. Like, yo, you gotta go. I can't wait to bump first day out now. Like, that nigga was doing it now. It's not like he was, when I heard him say, man, I ain't shot nobody in 4 years. I ain't said a hit in 3. I'm like, oh yes. Now, shit, I'm imagining that nigga saying I ain't rob a nigga in 2 months. Why do I say that? The point is, it all matters how you perceive an artist and perceive music, other things that surround it. The moment you figure out a rapper is a cooperant or they're a fraud, if they make music that say the opposite, You fall back. Okay. So, Twitter, I believe, killed this perception. All right? There's a few other small things. I won't necessarily go about and claim that, for example, he beefed with the game. I don't think that did all of what it did. But there's a few things that I feel like Meek it was his career suicide. Of course, even, I'm still going to count as PR, the bunny hopping, all that type of stuff. That was the tail end, but we're going to go through his career. And I want to accurately pinpoint where Meek was at every moment. Okay? Now, of course, if I was to say this to Meek, and me being very fair, I would like to say if we're summing up Meek Mill's career, let me say this, and I proudly say it. Everybody keeps saying, like, I got this big come up from the war in Chirac. No. The biggest jump in my career came from me being the only media source for Meek and Drake. I was trying to find everything every day about Meek and Drake. It got me to 1 million followers. It got me out of there. That's always been the biggest jump. Maybe the most notable for y'all now is War in Chirac, but covering Meek and Drake. Let me go through his career. I'm going to use Wikipedia a slight bit. So Meek Mill, and all I just need prompts for his music. Meek Mill came on the scene. He dropped Dreams and Nightmares. Meek Mill was really in a really amazing, almost a golden age. I think people would almost think this was the golden age, the last golden age. Maybe 2010 to 2014, or maybe like 2008 to 2000. Yeah, but sometime around then. Why? This is at the time where you had a lot of mixtape companies. You had the live mixtapes. You had Spinrilla, My Mixtapes, Dat Piff. And artists at that time, especially street artists, they would take advantage of them. They would take advantage of that, flood the streets with music. It was a really organic way, right? It was an organic way how to really touch the people, right? The Dream Chaser series was, I'm not going to lie, just flat out amazing. I remember it crashing Dat Piff. We all remember that, right? By the way, we remember the Flamers era too, right? But this is 2009, 2008. But let's get to 2010, right? So 2010, he's now doing the Dream Chasers tapes. These things are out of this motherfucking world. And then he comes with his debut album, which is Dreams and Nightmare. Dreams and Nightmares dropped in 2012. Now, he's already had a bunch of hot songs already. If you guys do know Rose Red and a couple songs like that. He's had songs with Rick Ross, right? And here comes his debut album, and this puts him out of here, okay? First and foremost, he has the intro. This is the intro right here, Dreams and Nightmare. And it's one of his biggest songs, if not his biggest, but it sets the palette for Meek is not just a regular street rapper. He is the only next generation East Coast street nigga rapper, which historically the East Coast has always had a bunch of street rappers that have done well. Meek was now number one, not even close. He was the number one street rapper. This goes, it does good. Everybody, people are rocking with him. He gets on songs like Burn with Big Sean. It's if you were, now I'm sounding old. If you were outside, 2012, every cookout, man, they were running through these songs. He even had a song with Drake at the time. Amen. He was the perfect mix between straight to the streets. Songs like Dreams and Nightmare was songs about feeling moments of despair but still making it out, a triumphant comeback. Those songs were working. He showcased everything he needed to do on this album. This is a classic album if you ask me too. Amen with Drake showed he could really appealed to the more mainstream and pop side where people might not be on that shouting stuff, but they could fuck with him. You had Tony's Story, which was also showing that he had levels and depth to his album making capability. And then, of course, when you just needed some shit to just really turn up to, he had songs like Burn, right? Everything is good in Meek Mill life at this time. Now, what ends up happening, and I got to go beyond. Give me 1 second. I got to go before. Okay. Oh, never mind. It's after that one. My bad. Okay. So then he drops Dreams Worth More Than Money. This is dropped in 2015. And when this album drops right here, this was pretty much the epitome of the story that every hood nigga wanted. Meek at this time had gotten a relationship with Nicki Minaj. Meek was the nappy braid nigga who it was documented that he was on street corners just rapping. He was that pure. He was just out there rapping. And he makes it that he's dating this pop star, so to speak, even though she's a rapper. He's with the girl everybody wanted. He's a lyricist everybody respected, and he's a street niggas that everybody feared. That was the perception, and we have to keep it there. He drops a song with Rico, right? He drops a song Rico. And by the way, I think the only thing to mention before, I think he had gotten arrested a couple of times. But I don't think that was, when was his long arrest? It was a long arrest. Oh, okay. What is this? Oh, yes. All right. Never mind. Okay. So in 2013, a judge who later got I think she got charged herself, Judge Janice Brinkley. I'll show you her face. Judge Janice Brinkley. This was Meek Mill's judge. She supposedly had some relations with some other people. I don't want to get too much into the story, but the story goes she didn't like nothing about Meek Mill. Nothing. It got to the point that much later on, the feds were going to investigate her, and they asked Meek to wear a wire at a hearing, or I think it was the in-chambers hearing, that they could see some of the corruption with her. He declined. But this judge at the time threw him in jail for violating his probation. He was on probation for gun and drug charges that he caught in 2008. Okay. He went to jail. He got out. He went to jail. Got out. But he gets with Nicki. He drops the music. And I also want to kind of track how his career is going. It's important we track how his career is going during this time. So during his career, remember, album sales is big. First week sales for this project, his debut. Let's see what he does. He does 165,000 units. He gets locked up. He gets released. He gets with Nicki. He drops an album, notably with another Drake feature called Rico. This is where it goes bad. But he also has a song with his boo, Nicki Minaj, and on All Eyes on Me. Okay? That's the one, right? It says, she was the baddest. She was, right? Cool. Now, what ends up happening is that summer, it was June or something. I used to remember the date. Him and Drake kick off. Now, I want to show you Meek Mill's demeanor over time. I remember vividly in one of the interviews when he's popping it and he's like, man, I'm not going to be like some of these other niggas with our sales. He's like, my numbers just keep going up. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Is it this?
We back in the building.
Yes.
How it
It's
feel,
216 the streaming number 2, man. Give me my real number.
Well, what's the real number?
What's everything
Like
combined?
5,000 more,
Right?
but still, I want all that.
What was you expecting? What was the bet?
That though.
Like 200 plus?
Yeah,
Word.
250, 300.
But you know what's good about it also is that a lot of people seem to really like the album. Sometimes those sales go down a lot, but it feels like, pretty solid. Everybody
Yeah, I
heard
wanted to
it.
make an album though. I ain't really no numbers type dude. I wanted to make an album that was so hot that even if it ain't do numbers, it's still in the street. So you know what I mean.
My dudes was just in here, Jesus and Mero. They said they haven't heard the album yet, but they said it's classic based off the intro. Based off the intro from the first album.
Okay, all right. So Meek is on top of the world. This is July 8th, 2018. And these infamous tweets come out. This gotta haunt Meek. I ain't gonna lie to you. Meek is feeling himself so much that from this got published, this interview, July 8th. He sells 200,000. And he comes out the next week and he basically torpedoed all that. Because everybody was loving Meek. People were rooting for him, hoping he got off his probation stuff. Remember, Drake wore a Drake Meek Free Meek Mill shirt. He wore it twice. That was during the battle. But he wore it, this was before the battle. People were supporting Meek. And essentially, let me see.
They say like the Jump Out the Face seemed like a Future record, or the Rico sound like a Drake record.
What the else do they want? I don't know. I can't. If you saying that shit, you ain't no Meek Mill fan, first of all.
Okay. Anyway, the point is this, Chad. Meek's career is on the up and up. There's another clip I can't find. It's probably in another interview. I remember him cockily and arrogantly saying, I'm not no type of nigga who gonna come out and do less views or less streams or less sales. I'm gonna keep going up there. No one could really pinpoint anything in Meek's career to show that his career may have taken a tumble until the Drake beef. Now, we're just going to go off facts, not assumptions. Oh, shit.
Andrew Schultz.
The point is, here we go. After that album, so Dreams Worth More Than Money, he gets into a beef with Drake a week later or 2 weeks later. His next album in 2017, Wins and Losses, he sells 102,000 copies. It was almost less than half of what he did last time. Meek took a tumble because of Drake. It just is what it is. It forced people to pick a side. Drake fans wasn't liking him. The idea of us saying that, Meek could... I hate when people talk about Meek Mill. They always use this one thing. He could rap. Okay, that's a given. It's like saying, water is wet. Like, we're not talking about that, right? The moment you get past, not because you could put words together good means you're going to sell a billion record. That's when you have the real conversation about Meek. Why did his sales go down? Now, he blames it on marketing. Right? He said the label wasn't marketing him that well. I mean, I look at the album. You got the verse from Young Thug, Future, Rick Ross, Yo Gotti, Quavo. He pretty much has everything except Drake. So this is where I disagree with Charlamagne on. I don't believe Meek ever stopped putting out music. That's never been a thing. Meek didn't stop putting out music. By the way, he dropped a bunch of little EPs. I love those. He used to drop a little 4 for 4 joints. Them shits was hot. And no, we're not talking about food. This first 4 for 4 right here, Pray For Him, I'm the Plug, gave him hope. He dropped a bunch of freestyles like he was going bananas. Yo, he was going bananas. Warpaint was his response to this. Meek was going crazy with music if you listened. So I'm kind of affirming what Charlamagne said to say, one thing I think Meek doesn't understand is that his career has been about likability. And naturally, I don't think Meek is a likable person. At his height, he's arrogant. At his lowest, he's whiny. People look at him as he's stupid. Now, I'm not making any assertions here. I'm just telling you what the perception is. Now, oftentimes that clashes with the artist's own ego. I remember that's why me and Meek really got into it a lot, because when they go out, they don't see what's happening on the internet. They can't see their own perception. Everyone's showing them love. Everyone's saying they're the best. They're not really cognizant of the conversation that's outside their realm. So when he saw me say it, he thought I'm brainwashing everybody. No, I'm saying what everybody's saying. Wale did that too. Shout out to Wale, but he still did that too. When he came to Everyday Struggling, I said, yo, some people think you're corny. And he was just like, man, nigga, like, you can't tell me I'm corny. And I'm like, he's personalizing it. And he's also thinking that's not an actual conversation. Because of, and you know, not to defend against his bot conversation. When Meek's manager told me, yo, man, I know Drake paying for bots. Ain't no way niggas would put a bunch of L's in a real street nigga comment section. And I'm like, bro, the people who follow rap are not real street niggas, bro. I was trying to tell them, they didn't want to hear it. They're like, yo, when we go to the trenches, man, niggas don't play like that with us. I'm like, okay. So, we're going to get to Charlamagne's point. The beef is happening. His sales get cut in half. Beef is happening. His sales get cut in half. Now, and this is why you have to break down the timeline, he does come back with another album, and it seems like this is a bounce back. In a year after that, he drops Championships, and Championships goes bananas. Championship sells 229,000. It was a stamping of maybe Kendrick. I'm sorry, Freudian slip. Maybe Meek Mill is back. Meek Mill, whatever we thought he lost in the battle, is back because he sold 200 before the battle. He now sold 200 after the battle. Now, that's the part Charlamagne left out. Charlamagne didn't acknowledge that after the battle, he did put out some shit that was commercially successful. But this is the point where if you peel back the layers and you look at the deeper root problem of what's going on, it's really disturbing, actually. So he sells 229,000. But remember, this is now the first project that him and Drake is cool. Drake is back on his album. Drake is featured on a song called Going Bad. Him and Drake, who were beefing at the time when he drops Wins and Losses, he squashed the beef with Drake. Or Drake squashed it with him, whatever. Mutually, they squashed it. And now, Drake is back on the album. Now, it's important that I use this to kind of showcase how this album looks. Display capture, here we go. Now, the album is Championships. The album is Championships. Now, I want to tell you, and this is my offering to you, Chad. My offering to you, and Meek, please, I'm not, trust me, this is no ill will. Please. I don't think Meek was ever back. Honestly. By sales, he's back. But if you look at the album, and this is why I pulled these numbers up, over half the sales came from the song he did with Drake. The reunion song did half. Look, 52 million, 27 million, 106 million. That has Anwell on it. 61 million, 61 million, 68 million, 29 million. He has Roddy and Thug on this. 32 million, 1.3 billion. Chad, listen. If you look at by the numbers, Meek never came back. I hate to say it. I don't want him to get mad at me. I'm not in a bad place with him. But he never came back. The reunion with Drake gave the appearance of him being back. Chat, look at the numbers. Look, they ran This Is a Single, is 6 times, actually 7 times less popular. So just to put it in perspective, one song with Drake has 1 billion more streams than the second highest streaming song. If I told you that, let's get Meek out of the picture. I don't want to pick on him. If I told you I had dropped 10 songs and each song got about 15 streams and one song has 55,000 streams, what does that tell you? Chat, I'm only being honest with you. So Charlamagne is right, but he wasn't full on the story. Unfortunately, I do have to say Meek never came back in the way he was before. Now, I'm a numbers guy, so we always got to go back to see. Let's look at the album that was dropped in 2015, Dreams Worth More Than Money. That's the one he did 200 on as well. Let's see if we see any type of variation in numbers that would be like, oh, no, he always never streamed that much than one song. Now, granted, this is before the streaming era, so we won't see too much. Basically, the song he had with Drake and the song he had with Nicki and Chris Brown, those did about well. He had Lord Knows with Tory that had over 100 mil. Whatever. Streaming was new at this point. In 2015, streaming started like 2015, y'all. Okay? So, even though these other streams look pretty low, it was more about still selling like CDs and iTunes stuff. It was iTunes at that point. So I'm not going to make too much, note about this, but it's interesting to note. Meek has one song in his catalog that has 1 billion streams. Matter of fact, if we look at the top 5, let me close it up. If we add the intro, All Eyes on You, Blue Notes, and whatever this is, they still have less streams than that one mega song Drake did with Meek. I'm only being honest. I'm going by the numbers. I can't be biased. I'm looking at numbers. If we expand this a little bit more, Rico is there. Dangerous is there. I'm just telling the story, but I'm telling it by the numbers, y'all. Let's go back to Meek Mill. After championships, we get Expensive Pain. His last album on Atlantic. And this is where I'll shoot Meek some bail. I'll shoot him some bail. Because this isn't emotional. This is just straight by the book. Meek and Atlantic were headed for inevitable breakup at this point. Atlantic, give me a second. Wait, I cannot find, sorry. Let me just find this right here. Give me 1 second. Right here. Expensive Pain. Yes, Expensive Pain. This was the last project he dropped on Atlantic. Now, I want to give you a little bit of a tidbit. That's why I say I'm a devious nigga to be beefing with. I talk with all these labels. I knew what Atlantic was going through, and I knew that it's no way they were going to push this Meek album all the way. And this is what I'm saying about being shrewd. A lot of, around this time, he's beefing with Game. That happens 2019 or whatever, 2020. Then me and him start kicking off. The whole time, you know what I know? Be patient, young man. His label don't want to spend no more. Meek was at the end of his contract. Atlantic was in a shed the fat mode. These are the things I agree with him. Atlantic, Meek even said one thing to me, even when we did our first piece up conversation. I was like, oh, I know. When he said, man, because you shared the first week numbers, man, they want to send $1 million. They want to spend $1 million, something like that, on more promotion. The label, they were starting to get cheap with Meek. They're trying to. So in Meek's defense, some of these things that he keeps saying, it's not propaganda, it's business. Atlantic pulled the plug after they realized, yo, we can't fight these narratives. We're not gonna keep dumping money into a black hole to fight narratives. Like right now, I can tell you, Lil Baby's label, they're spending money to fight narratives. Trust. Subsequently, this got into a place where Meek Mill didn't renegotiate a new contract. Meek Mill goes independent. Okay? But if you ask me, and let me open up let me open up this right here. Chat, by the way, I'll give y'all a tidbit. Anytime you're beefing with a label, you're beefing with an artist, make sure you know what's going on in his label first. You can't beef with me when I know what's in your wallet, nigga. Trust me, because you can't bluff like, no, I'll take it there. No, you won't. You got $5 left. Stop it. Come on. Anyway. Now, this is the album, Expensive Pain. And this is why I just want to say to Meek overall, right? It's either two options. It's either when you flashed out with championships and dreams worth more than money, that was never your level, and you always been maintaining. Or your career took a tumble. I think it's the second. You hit some plateaus, your career took a slight tumble. It's fine. By the way, with Meek, you always got to give it's like the fucking thing to the slow kids. I'm not talking about him. I'm just saying, because people are, but Meek could still rap. He's still killing it right now, bro. He just dropped a song on Friday. I get it. Meek's probably never been rapping. Meek need a PR company and needs to drum up excitement. That's his thing. Selling music is not selling skills. Any marketer should know this. When you're selling things, put it like this, the biggest and the best in this industry, when you look at The Weeknd, when you look at Travis Scott, they spend millions a year marketing, not even music, but marketing why you love them. That's what happens. They don't get on Twitter and say anything that comes to their fucking mind. They don't do a Jay Nivey and be like, yo, well, here's my opinion. If you don't like it, fuck you. No. They spend millions. I'm telling you this happens. They spend millions of dollars to remind you why you love them. I think it might be a little bit too late for Meek, even though I think if he is humble enough and he could accept this independent wave, I think Meek could go out there and sell 30, 35K right now. Yeah, I think Meek could do that, but that's his level now. And if you're independent, who cares? Who cares? Who cares, But I'm going to be honest with you. I am inclined to believe Charlamagne because honestly, he didn't recover. Remove Going Bad from that album sells 100,000. Expensive Pain sold 100,000. So the only true time I believe I could give him the you sold over 200 thing is going to be Dreams Worth More Than Money, and people are going to say, well, he was with Nicki and Drake also gave him a song there. So it's kind of like, it's hard to call it. Anyway, Charlamagne did respond. I'm wondering who Charlamagne choked out over Netflix. He must have choked somebody out over Netflix because now they got Breakfast Club. You get more than 2 minutes of it. They give you much more of the content. So perfect. Now hopefully he choked somebody else out that we never have to go to Netflix, right? Here we go, chat.
is upset.
That is so
He
crazy.
did not like some comments that Charlamagne made,
I'm
so
gonna
he
speed
made
this
it
up
a
a little
main
bit.
post on his Instagram to talk about propaganda that takes place in the hip hop community. Now let's take a listen first to Charlamagne's comments that he made with Andrew
Can you
on.
give the clip some context though? Like we were discussing how people handle the aftermath of rap beefs.
Yes,
that's why
you guys were
even
talking
having
about
this
Jay-Z,
conversation.
Nas, because of the Jay-Z interview that he did with GQ.
Meek could have just kept doing music, but for some reason he didn't. Like something was just off after the battle. You know what I mean? And he really, I mean, honestly, he didn't really recover. Yeah, it's strange. You know what it was with Meek, man? Meek's Achilles heel to me was actually Twitter.
Yeah, for sure.
And when Drake called him Twitter fingers, trigger finger turned to Twitter fingers, and it's just like every time Meek tweets, even
It's
now
crazy,
to
bro.
this day,
It's crazy. It's pure
and
entertainment.
I fuck with Meek. You
Okay,
know
we
what I'm
watched
saying?
this already,
I
so-
think Meek.
Go through it. The white comedian also boosted didn't rumor on his major platform with no evidence, then asked me to go on his show. Can y'all see my brand back heating up now?
Oh, let me address that too. Because he was talking about Andrew Schultz, but he was talking about the Diddy stuff, right? This is why I said Meek just need a PR company. I remember Meek getting into a beef with me because he said that I made up the lie about him and Diddy. And I remember that day on Twitter, and we're going back and forth saying all type of stuff. He eventually even said, man, I'm going to show up to your house, da-da-da. Everybody and their mama, millions of people watching this back and forth, everybody kept saying one thing. Bro, why don't you just answer the question or just deny it? He did everything, which I'm pretty sure he was so mad, he didn't even think, or he probably like, man, I don't even got to answer this. Bro, all you got to say, yo, that's not true. That's fake. He did everything but answer the question, and that's where I think a PR comes in.
Please leave an honest comment. Since Drake beef, I dropped Tap. That's 3 times platinum. PETA, double plat.
Also, I'm now that she's reading, I get to fact check. Tap is Nav's song. So Nav, it's like Drake saying he dropped going bad. Like, yeah, he's a feature, but that's Nav's song. Right? Even though you contribute to it crazy, you're not given the credit for it necessarily, like in people's minds.
Platinum, Blue Note, 1 and 2 times platinum. Uptown Vibes with Legend from Brooklyn, Fad, platinum.
Some of these songs I'm not even familiar with. Meek Mill. See, that's another thing. And I think Meek didn't realize he low-key was kind of making our own point for us when he was pointing this out. He says, yo, ever since the beef, I have a bunch of features that are successful, which people would probably say, nah, nigga, that's because it's Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch was, I think this is the album he got the box on, right? Like he has a song called The Fucking Box, right? So people might be looking at him like, bro, you're not the reason those records did that.
Was Free featuring Jay-Z, Meek Mill. I think that it's platinum. F on Me featuring Cardi.
What's Free? Okay, I'm not too sure. Okay, that's his song though. Okay.
Platinum, Scarface with Rick Ross, Gold, Independent Money, Respect the Game, Platinum, 24/7 double platinum. So he's going through a bunch of his music. Cybertruck in Philly, 5 a.m. Look how far we came.
With him, like,
he
stop
said.
playing.
He said. So what the F are we talking about? We got to keep a close eye on this cat. I feel like he's in the closet gay man that hates success.
Now that right there, that ad hominem attack, I believe was signed to me that he got something with Charlamagne, but I really think Jay-Z's in the mix. I really think so.
Successful black man unless he's doing business with them, but they promoted I'm gay and I'm helping pop like 10 artists off on the East Coast, no cash for gain for charity. I'm really the one, but it's some real propaganda on my brand and I want to investigate it.
Drop on the clues bombs for Meek Mill.
Now, where I will disagree with Meek, you got to stop either being a conspiracy theory or stop saying everything the first time it comes to your brain. I'm glad you're on LinkedIn, but when you tweet out like you found fire, the rest of humanity look at you and be like, is this a nigga we've been listening to for all this time? There's certain things, people like Meek, he might not understand an image because he might be like, nah, I'm being real. Like, I think he lives in a world of real. Anyway.
I never said he didn't drop any music. I said if I was Meek, I would have deleted my Twitter and just kept dropping music. I would only talk through the music because every single time Meek posts, the internet turns it into a joke. Y'all was just laughing at him last week because he posted about being on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they was.
And I said on Brilliant Idiots, the propaganda. I didn't say propaganda, but I said the way they act with Meek is strange, and I agree with Meek. The propaganda against Meek is strange, and it started with that battle. And at least on social media, the narrative.
Okay, now he's cleaning it up. But yeah, Meek. That's what Meek was saying. Meek was saying it was a propaganda.
Around him hasn't recovered.
It started with the battle. The sad thing about Meek is he gets busy, he gets nice, he puts out great music. He's an inspiration to a lot of these artists. G Herbo said he's the reason why he even wanted to get into music. But sadly, because of everything that's been going on with social media after that beef, he's been the butt of a lot of people's jokes.
Regardless of what he does. And he does some great things. We always give Meek credit for the great things.
And it doesn't matter regardless of what he drops too, because there has been music that I feel like people didn't like. Remember the Heathens? Like there was a lot of things that he dropped.
Championships, wins and losses, even though that was almost 10 years ago, that was a great project.
But he dropped a snippet.
4-pack last year. He put out a 4-pack.
That was the remember the Heathens one. That's what I'm talking about.
That's
and it was great. But I feel like people didn't really talk about it at the time.
Just proofread the tweets, yo. That's all you got to do before you just press and submit. Just proofread the tweets.
It's like anything he do because LinkedIn.
Sometimes I don't understand what you're talking about. Like we don't understand, but it's funny. It's not like oh, you're a retard, you're a retard. Like you're just funny, yo.
That's
just
why I said he shouldn't tweet and he should just talk through the music. And as he just said, they put gay on Meek. That's why
they definitely was sprinkling that gay up and down.
He mentions that. He said that Diddy situation was like that. That wasn't right.
And that's why I'm not even mad. He said I'm DL in that post because that's just projection.
You're not DL. You come out. You came out.
Shut up.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
I mean, well, he's not, but I'm just saying.
He'd be hurt by what people say about him, so he's putting that on me. But I do agree with Meek. Propaganda against him is strange.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And it started with that battle, at least on social media, right? And the narrative around him on social media is what I mean when I say he hasn't fully recovered.
Right.
Because he's done some amazing stuff.
He has. He sells out arenas. He sells out. He does a lot of dope-ish. But like you said, the propaganda around him is taking what he's done and what he's built and tries to make a mockery of it. So
every time he posts.
If you're Meek, you understand why he would be upset. Like absolutely, positively, they done made this man gay. They just made this man Diddy's sitting on Diddy's lap.
Every time
twins with the outfits.
Twins with the outfits.
I know with the little midget.
They took everything that he started with, and I seen Meek's ground from the beginning.
I know.
So I would feel the same way.
Meek has done some amazing things, as I said I said on Brilliant Idiots. He's done some incredible things. I love what he does with Reform.
We love a Meek, y'all.
It's Lauren LaRosa telling you to beware of the dog. That's right. They only top dog and he.
Wake your ass up.
Interesting. Very interesting, my people. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, could you fucking give me 1 second? Give me 1 second. We might have the complaint here. Oh boy. We got it, y'all. We got it. We got the criminal complaint. We gonna read through this junk. Basically, my last takeaway with this is that I think Charlamagne just forgot the history. Meek making that whole thing a thing. Do I feel bad for Meek? No. Meek still has somewhat of a career. He's independent now. Not everybody's going to have a Future-like career. Future's a fucking 101. Right? Meek got to find a way. I think he's, he'll never learn on the you need people to like you type of shit. But I think his rapping ability don't need to make him learn. So he'll keep doing what he does and whatever. But I don't really have anything against him. It's whatever. Let me see. All right, give me 1 second. We got the indictment here. Not indictment. It's a This is the criminal complaint against Pooh Shiesty. Okay. All right.